Margaret and Windsor, and I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, to this family, given the name of a twin. This is Lina Dempsey, a psychopath mother of the twins, and she killed them. Family covered it up. This is me. And I found out in late 83, and I found out my dad is Edward VIII. This is a lie. He never married Wallace Simpson. She married a look-alike, a doppelganger, I guess if you want to call it. This is my Aunt Georgia O'Keefe. My mom is Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, who married my dad, Edward VIII, who they legally took down, and by court and legally I am his daughter, and I am heir to the British Crown, Queen Victoria II. Now I'm going to jump. I wrote about mind control murders in 76 till they put antifreeze in me, April Fool Day of 80. I had a letter from the FBI signed by William Harper, the federal attorney there in Atlanta, June the 23rd, 79. I was writing about mind control murders, and Flint was shot March I'm tired. I've been soaked. I'm allergic to chemicals. I'll say it again. I have an immune disorder, and when I am soaked in them or around them, they're so toxic to me, my immune system attacks itself. And the only way is to get away from it. There's no cure. It causes mass inflammation when it's been done like it's been done to me, and deliberately. And it's not that people have doubted what I was saying. I had a letter from the FBI for a long time. And it gets into people just didn't care here. Most of them. There's some that did. Larry Flint said I knew who was responsible for his shooting, and he mentioned Larry McDonald, a congressman doctor. This is one of them. I'm just going to show you what they're doing with it and blaming psychiatry for it. And I was just listening to a program on Coast to Coast that went back in former Russia, Soviet Union, and was telling about using psychiatry on dissidents to shock them and psychotic drugs and all that. So this is what I've been telling about this country. This didn't just happen. They're programmed, the mass shootings, and you can mass armies now. And this is my uncle who helped kidnap me, George VI. He's there with Roosevelt in 39 planning my kidnapping, and it's the illegal treaties, that's my dad, that they signed, and Elizabeth, the members of the Illuminati that kidnapped me, the same people that control the press that Donald Trump's trying to tell you about, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds. Now I wanted to go and tell this, if I can get it on. I'm not sure I can. Nobody's doubted the patterns that were deliberately done because mind control is invisible. They were done before I knew the mechanism used. I knew they were happening. I couldn't explain them. So I'm going to jump ahead, and I wrote the book and worked for doctors, and I found out about mind control, and that was used in one of the doctors I worked for, and I put his name up. He's probably deceased now, but he did he's cardiovascular, and he did a heart, wasn't a transplant, I forgot what, well, a heart, he went into the heart, and he was head of a corporation, and the odd thing is when I left there, I went to work for this corporation. It was called Dixon Produce, and it was a huge produce company. Come to find out, the woman, the bookkeeper's name was, her husband's name was Russell, I believe, and she showed me papers to where he was killed, her husband was with it, and the chairman of the board of Dixon was, I've forgotten his name, he was Dixon, and then Gary Dixon, the son, and it's the next in line, he's executive there, I've forgotten his name, but it was him that the doctor I worked for put a chip in his heart bypass, is what it was. And you can control their decision-making, and they don't even know it. You can program them to kill in any manner to appear as suicide, and it's not. And most of all, here's one of them. The Warren and Rosina Matthews that I wrote about were forensic pathologists at Larry McDonald, the hospital there in Piedmont. hospital in Atlanta. They were shot on Terrell Mill, and one of the witnesses, the girl, was under hypnosis. And that became a Billy Jack, and then it's weird if you look it up, but I wrote about that. They knew how deaths were made to appear of natural cause. With mind control, you can create an illness or cure it. And this goes back to the Tesla file stolen in 1930, and probably goes back before then, because they programmed the guy to shoot King Ferdinand. So I wanted to get to this part if I can. This is the one that would prove it, and I'm just going to make a short synopsis of it. I lived on the Appalachian Trail for years and years. I was shut down when I came to Roanoke. I never saw Mr. Flynn again. Although that parody that he put in Hustler, I was out there then during the campaign in '83, and he showed it to me. I didn't know I was going to end up here in Roanoke. And he was in Roanoke because Jerry Falwell sued him for the parody. Well, I'm living on the Appalachian Trail, freezing, starving. People just want me dead. I went through hell. They can do anything to me they want to. And anyway, I'm going to go to this, the patterns. I've gone to the press. I went to that in Atlanta. Nobody's doubted it. Had a letter from the FBI. I've told all this. Worked for the district attorney when they'd put antifreeze in me, April Fool's Day of '80. And worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson, which Simpson gets into the patterns. Wallace Warfield Simpson was supposed to marry my dad, Edward VIII. Total lie. She married an imposter. So I put all this up. And I want, if I can get this up, I went up in Troutville, Bontoc County, Virginia, outside Roanoke, and that's where the Appalachian Trail goes. This is '92. I remember the year, '92, and going up the Appalachian Trail, then you had to go on Mountain Pass a good ways down, going toward the Parkway, entrance to the Parkway. And I went up there, and it's hard to get up. I stayed in the snow and the ice, and it was so cold. No food. I begged back and forth and walked into Roanoke. You can't believe the hell I went through just to have a place to be. And then they run me from that. And then when I was able to get money, I got a tent and a sleeping bag. And they still did it to me. And I'd come down, they'd run me right back up, and then tell me I couldn't stay there. And I've told you the rest about the chemicals. So now I want to get to the patterns that would prove it if I get this up. Last year, formaldehyde was used on me, which has been used before, and it's horrifying to me. It kills me. But I had to go. I was up on the Appalachian Trail. I'd been run up there again, the old one where I went up the first time and stayed before they built the other new trail off of Mountain Pass close to Lee Highway there at Travel Post Office. So I went back to the same place where I'd gone up before so many times. And they had really made it so I couldn't get up there again, but they come in and put formaldehyde on me. And I'm 77 years old, and the inflammation and the stuff that they've done against me, I'm just about dead. And about the fourth day of me moving it up, I'd move it up, and this is illegal. It should be locked up. They would come behind me and light the formaldehyde, put it in, soak the wood in it and burn it. Anyway, I fell, and I busted my rotary in both shoulders. Anyway, this lady came along. Her name is Angela, and I won't get this on here. But anyway, she came back. I got money for rent a few days later. She came back and took me into Roanoke again and then brought my camping gear to me. I didn't know her last name. So in January the 1st this year, and by the way, I want to mention this. Nathan was someone who helped me. I met on the trail, and he's from Roanoke, lives on Windsor Street. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, okay? Telling everybody I'm Queen Victoria II legal heir, and I am. Last time I saw him was there a day after I saw Angela, and then she came back and brought me back into Roanoke. Now, January the 1st, I met Angela again. I called her, and she brought me out to travel again. Come to find out, Sheila Lee